Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson.
I'm just thrilled to be here, Deborah.
I know you are.
You know, this our little TV show has just brought many hours of entertainment to me, and I've learned a lot, and I hope the folks that watch the show are enjoying it and get educated a little along.
We can really hope.
And honestly, I hope they get a big belly laugh every now and then. You know.
I'm sure that happens a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our tack this week. We got 2 or 3 items we want to talk about, but we want to talk about the importance of water, not only in Santa Rosa County, but in the state of Florida. So go ahead, kick it away there, Deborah.
Well, let's open by revealing, which apparently no other newspaper in this area wants to reveal, the news that Florida Hometown Democracy.
Oh, that's true. That's right.
Has made the ballot.
That just came out this week, ladies and gentlemen, and over the coming months, you're going to hear everything under the sun on this, and let me bring it to a nutshell for you here. Okay. Our county, let's talk about our county. Our county...
Well, let's clarify. Florida Hometown Democracy is an amendment that will now be on the 2010 ballot that will allow people to, or will require a vote for changes in the comprehensive plan, which has to do with allowing certain kinds of growth in certain places.
Right. So, in our county, we certainly have a comprehensive plan, and we have zoning across the entire county now. And I know that certainly a lot of my friends and a lot of telephone calls, they get upset when they see these quote-unquote large housing developments being thrown at us. And I think the feeling is across the state is that development has been allowed to kind of run roughshod over the citizens, and not just Santa Rosa County, across every county in the state of Florida. Now, let me tell you where the Florida Hometown Democracy would be important. Let's say, for example, you had a group of county commissioners 3 years ago who thought the greatest thing since sliced bread was going to be 20,000 houses in the Jubilee housing project, which is way outside of the norm, which was going to have a major impact in traffic corridors and affect virtually everybody in the central to the north end of the county. But yet you, the citizen, thought that was way too big and grandiose. Florida Hometown Democracy is going to say, if your elected officials want to do something like this, they have to sell it to you, and they have to put it on the ballot, and you get an opportunity to decide if you want 20,000 houses plugging up your already plugged arteries around your house. My guess is that the 1,400 houses over in East Milton probably would have met those qualifications.
If it was on agriculture land and they had to change that land use to housing, residential, then it would have been a comp plan change if it was large scale.
Right, and this law, to me it's very simple, and it's something that we really need as a state of Florida. If you're going to have a major change, it's going to affect folks. And look, ladies and gentlemen, the way the law is today, Jubilee with 20,000 houses, they had to put an orange. The county had to put an orange sign out there that says we're considering this.
Well, and that required a comp plan change because it was being placed way on the outskirts on agriculture land, instead of maybe closer
outside of an urban area,
where there was already roads and all that other good stuff in place.
And when you look at the notification requirements, because there's a lot of acreage there, large acreage that's owned by a small number of people, the county was only required to contact about 5 or 6 people. When this project, if it ever came to completion, with 20,000 houses at 10 trips a day per house, I mean, it's just phenomenal the effect that it would have on our citizens and our community. and I don't think I agree with the hometown democracy. I do not believe that it is fair to have large-scale things that are going to affect that many people. Yet it gets just slid right on through there. And let me say this from a political standpoint. If the hometown democracy would have been in place prior to Jubilee, it is my belief that the citizens of Santa Rosa County would have said no, and we also wouldn't have seen millions of dollars worth of liens placed against that property. We wouldn't have seen water, dirt and sand washing into the creek, which has happened because the project was never completed. And we would have saved ourselves a ton of money and effort by our county employees trying to make this thing happen. So
the point of the comprehensive plan is that people who are educated and who understand how supposedly how planning works are supposed to sort of encourage growth to be funneled in the best areas for the community. And that hasn't happened here, obviously.
No.
And it's even worse in Central and South Florida. It's right. I mean, it's a nightmare in Central and South Florida.
Well, you know, we continue to see things, and you know, and Deborah and I have been at this a while, not just this TV show, but a long time before then. Things such as high-rise condominiums being shoved in on the south side in Navarre,
right,
and spot zoning in a residential neighborhood where they were trying to put in a 3 or either a 4-story building, and then on the south side of 98 another big development that went in there, and then the Navarre Town Center. That was a change in the comprehensive plan that all should have been looked at a little bit harder than it was, I think.
Well, and some of those may have been good ideas. They may or may not have been, but I think the point is, had careful planning been happening like it is supposed to be by law, been happening all along, this never, hometown democracy never would have arisen. It arose as a response to a lack of government doing their job.
When you see an item that statewide can garner that many signatures for something,
people are fed up.
It is obvious to me that they didn't get their 600,000 or 700,000 signatures in Santa Rosa County.
Right.
They got them throughout the state of Florida. No doubt about it. South Florida has been pounded by uncontrolled large-scale development for years and years and years.
Well, they've so used their water resources up in South Florida that at one point during Jeb Bush's administration, there was actually talk of piping our water, Northwest Florida water, down to Central and South Florida so that they could continue to just concrete the whole state over, I guess.
Exactly. And
they'd have a water supply.
Right. And of course that brings us to our water issue here in Santa Rosa County. There's going to be a little slide presentation added to this. I found it very informative. I had an opportunity to see the presentation that was made before the Board of County Commissioners, to learn that the majority of our water comes from an aquifer kind of in the East Milton area along Highway 90, that the Yellow River feeds water to it underground in one place and Blackwater feeds water to it. And the majority of our citizens get water in our county from that one single reservoir. And
especially the south end of the county. It's the Fairpoint Regional Water Utility System, and it feeds a lot of the Gulf Breeze water that comes from Navarre, yes. Right. And there's a push on now by a group of citizens, including a representative of the water system, who want some kind of protection now for the wells, the whole well area in East Milton.
You know,